Lopez fell to Hindman. It's a good little scramble situation for Charleston to work on. And now the Battery trying to get out in transition. We're in the 29th minute of this first 30-minute half. There will be 2 mini games, and that is an excellent job again by minute of this first 30-minute half. There will be 2 mini games, and that is an excellent job again by Santiago Sosa to win the ball.
Barco was involved too, and it's that transition, and it's something that will be very critical this season because you're going to want to get numbers forward, but when the ball turns over, those numbers have to recover. And Sosa and Barco both there to close that down and take away the opportunities.
Moreno, Barco. Didn't quite squirt through to Lysandro Lopez. But Atlanta United is going to counterpress in these situations, and here's a chance now created for Lopez. Hindman, Lopez, Jack Gurr. Oh, a good idea. There's Moreno. Can't chip it in.
Little fortunate for Jack Gurr. I don't know if he spotted that getting all the way through. It's early. We'll give him credit for it.
We're calling it a good idea.
We'll give him credit for it just to put it back across the face because you never know what can happen there. Jack Gurr made the decision very quickly to play that back in. It almost worked out.
First half is over. So they're going to have a 5-minute break here, and then they're going to play another 30-minute period. Again, if you're just joining us, we're going to have 4 30-minute periods total today, but really with 2 different playing groups. So this is Group 1 for Atlanta United. They'll play the second 30-minute period. Then there will be a longer break, more of a true traditional halftime, and then the playing groups will change for the second set of 30-minute periods. We're at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. If you're just joining us, they kind of made a last-minute change to have the training exercise here today because the building became available. Technical staff thought it would be an excellent opportunity for the players to get some work on this surface and in this building.
Yeah, you take advantage of that. You get the opportunity to come in and work in a building for this technical staff that they haven't, for a lot of these players that they haven't. So you get the opportunity to do it, you take it.
Well, the one thing we've heard about these training sessions for Atlanta United so far is that they've been very, very intense. Not so much, I'm sure the tactical standpoint is part of it, the fitness is part of it, but just the level of information that's being given to these players right now. It's a new technical staff, obviously. It's a lot of new players coming into the team. And it sounds like, based on what we've been told by the players, that they have had to work awfully hard over the last almost full month. Like we said, February 24th was their first full team training activity.
Yeah, I mean, the way this team will play, there are a lot of similarities to what you've seen from Atlanta United in the past 4 years. But there are going to be some differences, and those are the things you have to work on ahead of time. Those are the things you have to work on in training sessions, but also those are the things you have to work on against opponents like the Charleston Battery. And that amount of information and the intensity of it is something that it feels like every player who has spoken this preseason has mentioned. It's a lot. It can be overwhelming, and I think you're going to see the players who cope with that. The best are going to be the ones who kind of hit the ground running faster. There is a huge physical element here. You're going to be asked to run and run and run and run some more and then run some more again. Joseph Martinez made that very clear in his media availability. But you also have to think, and that's going to be that combination that can be difficult early on. Anybody who has started a new workout plan, it's a little hard to focus early on when you're not at full fitness. You have to be able to do that here too, because as you can tell, there's a lot of different things that happen, not just on the ball for this team this year. The players are going to have to adjust to different situations and be one step ahead of the opposition at all times.
Well, again, this is a joint training exercise. This is not a full-scale friendly, which is why they're playing 30-minute periods. But I think the first 30-minute period, Gabby and Mike Anhauser are going to be pleased that they were able to work on a couple different things. We saw a couple different transition scenarios come to play, a couple set-piece defending opportunities for Atlanta United, and we even had an opportunity for Ezequiel Barco and for Stavros Arakostas to hit penalties, which is not something you typically get to do a whole lot this time of year, and also really good opportunity for the new young goalkeeper for Atlanta United, Rocco Rios Novo, to get a chance at saving a penalty. So, all in all, the first 30-minute period, I guess, accomplished the goals that the two managers had for their teams. They got to simulate a lot of different scenarios.
Look, both managers will have things that they'll be happy about here. Both managers will have things that they will want to see be better. And they're probably the happiest with that, because if everything is perfect in that 30-minute sequence, there's really nothing for you to build upon. These teams shouldn't be the finished product right now. There need to be things to get better. There need to be things to improve. And every player who played in that first 30 have things they did well, and they have things that the coaching staff will break down and isolate with them in video. We want it this way next time. We want it to be this way next time. You have to take advantage of those things. I think we see also that Jackson Conway is getting used to the sprinklers here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. They've caught him a couple times. He doesn't know the patterns yet.
They are watering the pitch here during this brief break. You see Jackson Conway warming up with a couple teammates. But this 5-minute break is about to come to an end, and now we'll play the second of 4 30-minute periods. But in terms of this, I guess, kind of mini scrimmage, this will be the second half. 1-1 Atlanta United and Charleston Battery, with both teams scoring on penalties. Atlanta United will play Chattanooga on Wednesday. That'll be a closed-door friendly. Then they'll play at Birmingham a week from tomorrow. They will allow a limited number of spectators into the stadium in Birmingham. And then April the 6th at Alajuelense, that'll be their first CONCACAF Champions League match. And then on April the 17th, Saturday afternoon, opening the MLS season in Orlando. So it's about to get very, very busy for Atlanta United over the next couple weeks, as that countdown to the start of the MLS season is now in its final month.
Good variety of opponents here in preseason. You had USL League One, South Georgia Tormenta last week. You get a USL Championship team, albeit early in their preseason, in Charleston Battery today. You get a NISA team in Chattanooga FC on Wednesday. Team with a lot of players with local ties who will be thrilled about that opportunity. And then Birmingham, who is a USL Championship team that Atlanta United 2 has faced many times. Atlanta United went there last year in preseason and were given a good match that helped them prepare for CONCACAF Champions League. Probably a big reason why you're going back again. Teams that can be a little direct at times. And when you look at Alajuelense and Costa Rica, your opponent in CONCACAF, it's a team that generally plays two up top. They play a 4-4-2. They're very good, but they're also pretty direct, and they're going to put the back line under pressure. So you're getting teams in preseason that are going to prepare you for that mentality, that way of playing. That's going to help your Miles Robinsons, your George Campbells, and guys we'll see later in the back as well. And Alex DeJohn, who's new to the group, a player like Anton Walks, who we have seen at center back as well. You need to get those moments of preparation against teams that play in a similar way.
Now they're pulling the hoses off the pitch here, and we'll be set to go in just a moment to start this second 30-minute joint training period. Lissandra Lopez will kick off for Atlanta United. Very experienced player. In fact, the most experienced player in terms of professional playing opportunities on this roster. As we talk about Lissandra Lopez, someone who brings a wealth of soccer knowledge. 600 pro appearances, 244 goals in club play, not to mention what he's done internationally. He's played for some big clubs, too. Played for Lyon from 2009 to 2013. And Atlanta United will have a lot of cover behind Joseph Martinez at forward this year. Kubo Torres will be in the group as well, young Jackson Conway. But as we said earlier, having a guy like Lisandro Lopez with this team is going to prove valuable on so many different fronts, it feels.
Yeah, it's really important to have a guy who has been around the block in these early stages. You know, when you're going to Orlando and dealing with the intensity of that, you're going to Costa Rica to deal with the intensity of Alajuelense. You want somebody who can come in and be a supporting player to Joseph Martinez, and you need to go find a goal late. He's a great person to call upon, a legend at Racing Club in Argentina, and a player who thought he was going to end his career there. And he gets this opportunity to come to Atlanta, and he grabs it with both hands. It's exciting to see somebody who was at a club that they are a legend at. If you did not see the farewell press conference for Lisandro Lopez at Racing, I mean, it was an emotional moment for him and for the media who cover that team. But he made the decision to come to Atlanta and help this team win trophies.
Well, it's kind of a compliment to what has been constructed here in Atlanta over the last 4+ years, that a player like Lisandro Lopez would want to give it a go here in Major League Soccer. It's also certainly a compliment, a testament maybe more than anything else, to how far Major League Soccer has come. Really nice job by Miles Robinson, by the way, to win that ball, as we're in the 3rd minute of this second 30-minute period.
Very smooth by Miles Robinson to read that and recover the ball after switching over to that side of the field. And that's maybe the most impressive part of it, is just the awareness to follow the game and not get hung up on, I'm here, this is my position. It's the game will take you different places on the field. Miles flows with it, recovers, starts the possession again.
Hindman, Barco. Now it is fired up to Mikey Ambrose. Barco wins the ball back. That cross could not find its way home to Lisandro Lopez. But again, a chance for Atlanta United to work in transition and get a professional foul on top of it, I guess.
Well, it's smart work by Campbell. I mean, he's going back to win that back quickly, and if you don't win it back, you don't let the opposing team break.
Well, for Miles Robinson, 24 years old from Arlington, Massachusetts, 2019, Jason, was his breakout season. 2020, he played 17 matches. Almost 1,400 minutes. A lot of work last year for Atlanta United. He's got a little test here as Rocco Rios smartly comes off his line. But I get the feeling that Miles came into this training camp, I don't necessarily want to say with a head start, but definitely with a boatload of confidence based on the time that he was able to spend with the U.S. men's national team, along with George Bello back in January. Yeah,
Charleston player down, and we'll keep you posted on that. But I think that last sequence, and it was Campbell who's making the play, but it in a way it shows the impact of somebody like Miles Robinson, because Miles, when he came here, everybody respected his defensive ability. He was a great 1v1 defender day one when he showed up. But he needed time to get comfortable. He needed time to improve. And he earned his opportunity in 2019. It took him 2 years. 2018, as the year went on, he played a lot for Atlanta United too, stepped into a postseason match and delivered when it was needed. 2019, he was among the best center backs in Major League Soccer. But what you're seeing now from Miles Robinson, he is established. He is becoming a leader, and he's becoming a mentor to players like George Campbell in their development. That was a play that we've seen Miles do so many times. Campbell now gets to watch that and live it out. Miles is going to be, I think, a more vocal leader in this group this year.
Here is Miles on the ball again. You see Eric Lopez has come in now for Atlanta United.
Marcelino Moreno checked out at the intermission break.
Hindman.
Again, you're not going to let the break. You're not going to, if you lose possession, and every team loses possession in different parts of the field, it happens, you can't let them break. You try to win it back as quickly as possible. If you can't win it, you can't let the opposition have a counter.
Santiago Sosa, who had a very eventful first 30-minute period for Atlanta United.
Yeah, but you're seeing the composure from Sosa. I mean, young players at 21 who he's being asked to be on the ball a lot. He's being asked to read the game a lot. You pick up a yellow card early on, it can be a problem. It hasn't been for Sosa.
And Sosa got a boot on that. It was Eric Lopez on a recovery run to get back in transition for Atlanta United.
Every player in this team will be asked to do everything on the field. Eric Lopez, a dangerous attacking player playing on the left side of the field today. If he has to come back and look like a left back at times to recover, he will. And he's going to be asked to do it. And if he doesn't, that's a problem.
Barco trying to pick out Jurgen Dahm. Looks like Ronald Hernandez has come in for Atlanta United. He just was on the ball there. Here's Barco. Oh, picked away by Lissandro Lopez. Barco. Mikey Ambrose. Eric Lopez. Ambrose kept that going. Lopez to Hindman. And that one is blocked by Lewis. Play on, says the referee.
That was his shoulder. It wasn't his hand.
Nope. It's clear, though, by Charleston.
Emerson Hindman, I feel like, has had 10 blocked shots today.
Does feel like it. You see how industrious is Atlanta United trying to win the ball back, though.
It does two things. I mean, if you turn it back over, the other team is exposed. It also gives you time to recover. Force another turnover.
Lissandro Lopez trying to run this down. That's for Eric Lopez, and Atlanta United scores for the second time in this training exercise.
They force a turnover in a bad spot for Charleston, get them exposed, and then no hesitation going forward. You see the class on the ball of Lissandro Lopez. He gets his head up. He knows what he has around him. Eric Lopez makes the run on the backside, pass delivered. Lopez, good first-time finish for the goal.
Well, Eric Lopez, the 19-year-old from Paraguay, was signed in July by Atlanta United. He was finally able to play in the CONCACAF Champions League down in Orlando. And I'm really looking forward to seeing more from him here in 2021 because he was the victim of some unfortunate circumstances last year that really limited his opportunities to play.
But the time he had last year training with the first team, we didn't get to see him play. His transfer was to Atlanta United too, but he trained with the first team throughout up until that CONCACAF Champions League appearance where he looked very good. That's going to serve him well this year. It's going to be worth that investment of time. You see it on that goal. Eric Lopez is a very promising young player from Paraguay. You know, kind of came onto the scene at Olympia, scored a number of goals in his initial appearances, to the point that he was the youngest player called in for Paraguay's Olympic qualifying tournament early in 2020. He's a bright star, not just for Atlanta United, but for potentially the Paraguayan national team.
Good work, Mikey Ambrose, to win a throw here for Atlanta United. Ezequiel Barco. Sosa. And now this is played up to Jurgen Dahm by Ronald Hernandez. Hernandez on the overlap. Try to thread it through to Lissandro Lopez. Jurgen Dahm wins it back. Jurgen Dahm. Lopez. Eric Lopez, Ezequiel Barco, and then that shot is scuffed by Ronald Hernandez. But Atlanta United, you can see this group is really starting to connect itself, winning the ball back and creating some opportunities.
Yeah, this is a group with a lot of quickness on the field, and you saw that in a variety of ways in that last sequence of play. They're able to make it difficult for Charleston to build up out of the back. But when they get it in those tight spaces, Jürgen Dahm especially, with some great footwork inside the 18 to keep that play alive and end up creating a couple of chances out of it.
Ronald Hernandez. That's a good ball in towards Lissandro Lopez. Jürgen Dahm.
It didn't come off, but George Campbell on the ball now. He came all the way up into that play and was willing to get involved and help keep it in the final third. Those are the building blocks of George Campbell's game and growing that confidence to not just be a good defender, but actually impact the game in the other half too.
The goal kick for Charleston. We're in the second 30-minute period, or the second half of this first mini game in this joint training exercise. 2-1 Atlanta United. Goals by Barco from the spot and by Eric Lopez. Rocco Rios Novo, who is the goalkeeper for Atlanta United, allowed a goal on a penalty in the 12th minute. We had 2 handball penalties in the first half.
Good patience. Nothing was on further up the field. Didn't force it. Keep possession. Work it to the other side. See what you can create here.
Oh, that's a nice one over the top. Does it fall to Barco? Not quite, but very close.
Great look from Campbell. Great look from George Campbell there.
Ronald Hernandez winning the aerial. Almost was able to pick out Barco.
Ronald Hernandez has brought a nice spark to the team on that right side coming into this second 30-minute sequence. Gotten forward, put in a couple of good crosses. See some good quickness out of him.
Hernandez is on loan from Atlanta United's partner club, Aberdeen. He had 4 appearances for Aberdeen this past season. He played in Norway for a couple of years. 23-year-old from Venezuela, and actually played in some national team matches with Joseph Martinez.
Yeah, very good young right back from Venezuela. It was the worst time to make a deadline day move last year because you come to a new country from Norway's Stabæk to Aberdeen. You're getting used to a new manager, a new set of teammates, and then not even 6 weeks later, everything shuts down. And it was really difficult to get established. And Scotland didn't come back to play like other leagues did either, so it was a long time off for Ronald Hernandez in a new country and in unfamiliar surroundings. It's going to be much better for him this year to be in a place with a large South American contingent. That's going to make him feel at home.
Jürgen Dahm put in a cross towards Barco. Now here is Ronald Hernandez. Sosa. Cut away from Jürgen Dahm. Then that tips off of Hernandez and sent forward by George Campbell.
Excellent recovery. It's Miles coming across again to make the play because that's where the game took him. Now you're able to get reset. That moment where it looked like Charleston could have countered, excellent awareness and communication from Atlanta United. To see those things this early is a really good sign.
Sosa trying to pick out Jürgen Dahm, who was offside, but another example of the speed of Jürgen Dahm.
Another example of the vision of Santiago Sosa as well. That's a pretty confident ball to hit, and he placed it perfectly. The run was just a step early from Jürgen Dahm, but what a ball from Sosa to pick him out.
And Sosa again. Nicks that out for a throw to Charleston Battery. We're now in the 17th of 30 minutes in the second period. Atlanta United with 2 goals, Charleston with 1. Again, really do not consider this to be a full-scale friendly. This is a joint training exercise. That's why the teams will change at the next break, and a whole new playing group will come out for Atlanta United, play 2 more periods. Charleston wants handball, and there's Rocco Rios-Novo making a good save.
Cross skipped up on Mikey Ambrose. Looked like he got it with his upper chest. Charleston wanted something else out of it. Look at the confidence out of young Rocco Rios-Novo. 3 players surrounding him, no problem.
Giving him an opportunity to play through pressure as well. I know Charleston gets a throw out of this, but again, something good to simulate in a training exercise as opposed to a real match.
That's the way you're going to play. You want to build up out of the back. And as you saw it there, it nearly worked out. If they commit 3 attackers, as Rocco Rios-Novo makes the save, if they commit 3 attackers and your goalkeeper with the ball at his feet is able to eliminate 3 players and you go forward, you're 10v7 at that point. You like your chances. That's why you play out of the back. See it again here. It's good passing from Atlanta United, and they get into space in the attacking half.
Now it's Jürgen Dahm. Jürgen Dahm. Dispossessed, but Jürgen Dahm with another long run. Charleston will try to counter here.
Looking for different movement off the ball. He didn't get what he was looking for. Tried to cut back where he had numbers.
George Campbell's got that covered. Good job by George. Thought he may have won a throw on top of it, but still really good work.
Campbell's looked very good here in the minutes we've seen so far, about 50 for him now. He's looked good on the ball. The defensive work, as we know, is strong. I think where I'm maybe most impressed with George Campbell today is his reading of the game. For a player with the experience level that he has, he's done a good job. Looking for another handball. They don't get it.
They do get a corner, though. You know, I get the feeling that George, not only is he still growing as a player, I think he's still growing physically. George is only 19 years old, and maybe it's just me. It looks like he got taller.
Maybe. That seems to be happening with a few Atlanta United players. Machop Chol seems to keep growing every time I see him. Efrain Morales.
That's Lissandro Lopez sending it up to Jürgen Dahm, and here's a chance here for Atlanta United with Barco playing it up to Jürgen Dahm.
What a ball for Barco.
Eric Lopez is on the left side. Here's Dahm for Barco, just missed. However, Lissandro Lopez.
Great idea.
And Hyndman knows it. He applauds.
Great idea from Lissandro Lopez.
A very challenging counterattack there for Atlanta United. We have about 10 minutes to go here in this first mini scrimmage. Atlanta United has 2 goals, Charleston with 1. As we said at the very beginning of the day, Charleston is in the very early days of its training camp. They're working with a lot of trialists today, as a matter of fact. Here is Lissandro Lopez to Ezequiel Barco. And Barco hits the crossbar, and then Lopez, unlucky. It glances away from his head.
Audacious from Ezequiel Barco trying the chip. Wins it back.
Eric Lopez. Barco. Mikey Ambrose.
It was another moment in that last sequence that I don't want to lose here with Miles Robinson stepping up to regain possession, coming very high up the pitch to win it back.
Here's Lissandro Lopez. Lissandro! Oh, a very good save. That will roll out for a corner, but Atlanta United really starting to develop some chemistry here with this group in the late going.
As a former hockey guy, you would get the kick save and a beauty.
That
right?
was a kick save and a beauty, absolutely. Right. Joe Kuzminski is back for Charleston. They signed Paul Lewis, who was on loan with Tormenta last year in their goalkeeper group. Adrian Thomas is on a goalkeeping trial today for Charleston.
Good footwork. Good footwork to get that left foot out.
Now the corner well defended by Charleston. Now they try to get back in transition, but Barco is right there and fouls.
Smart. You don't let them transition. You don't let the opposition transition. You break up the play. If you can win it back, you want to do that first. But you don't let the opponent get forward in numbers.
So off the block by Eric Lopez. Lissandro Lopez will give it back to Eric, and now Lissandro again.
Good one-touch passing from Atlanta.
Love to see it. Ronald Hernandez now up to Jurgen Dahm. Hernandez.
Nearly a fortunate deflection.
Feels like I said, there's been a lot of continuity here in this second period for the Atlanta United group, and I think Emerson Heineman has been very active in a lot of different spots. I think Emerson has even gotten himself into some dangerous spots today. Heineman going into his third season with Atlanta United. He had, a lot of people forget, he had 2 game-winning goals for Atlanta United very early last season, including a spectacular goal in Nashville to start the MLS season on February 29th of last year.
Yeah, we've seen Heineman get forward into good roles with this team before. He's done it again today. He's been a little unfortunate with shots being blocked out high, but Heineman is popping up in dangerous spots consistently today and finding those opportunities. As the continuity continues to build with this group, that's going to be a weapon for Atlanta United to find some other goal-scoring options potentially.
Jurgen Dahm. Lissandro Lopez. Barco. Now Miles Robinson up to Eric Lopez. Lissandro Lopez. And Sosa sends it over to George Campbell.
Love the mobility from Lissandro Lopez from what we've seen here. Dropping in deep, helping to connect the play.
There is Heineman giving it to Ronald Hernandez. And Hernandez earns a free kick. Ronald Hernandez, the 23-year-old, came over from the partner club Aberdeen on loan. Really good opportunity for him to get playing time here. Probably no player on this Atlanta United roster was more affected by the complications of COVID-19 on the football world last year than Ronald Hernandez.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate, the timing of his move to Aberdeen. Aberdeen had high hopes for him. It just didn't work out. They get into the season this year, and it's been a little up and down at times for the Dons. So it was hard to get him time and get him settled. He had a lot of competition in that spot. Comes here, and he will be able to support Brooks Lennon and push Brooks Lennon for time.
You'll get to see Joseph Martinez in the next group as off the free kick, Ezequiel Barco goes for goal and scores to make it 3-1.
Barquito with a beautiful right-footed curler into the side netting. Ezequiel Barco looking up for the 2021 season here early on. We saw a chip off the crossbar. He converts a penalty, and he buries a free kick. Good 55 minutes so far from Barco.
About 5 minutes to go in this period. You see Joseph Martinez warming up. Alex DeJohn is there as well. They will be in the next playing group for Atlanta United. They're going to take a slightly longer halftime after this period, and then the next playing group for both Atlanta United and Charleston will come in and play another hour's worth of soccer. See Brooks Lennon, Tyler Wolf. That will be the next group to come out and play for Atlanta United. So in the current training period that is about to wind down, Atlanta United with 2 goals from Barco, 1 from the spot, and a goal from Eric Lopez. Charleston scored from the spot. Stavros Zarakostas. In fact, that was the first goal of the match. Barco wins the ball back. And Eric Lopez was almost able to keep that going. A little hand fighting there between Miles Robinson and
Campbell. It's excellent from Campbell again. It's Campbell just closing it down, not letting Zarakostas get any kind of space. Both players trying to create space with the hands, but nothing there for Charleston to get over the top. Good work from Campbell.
Pop by Lissandra Lopez to Jurgen Dahm. And it'll be goal kick. Well, do you think Gabby has been able to simulate all that he has wanted to simulate here in this first 60-minute session?
He's gotten a lot of things accomplished with this group that's been on the field. Another turnover. That's going to be one of the things he's most happy about is how many times they've recovered possession in dangerous spots. Barco earns a free kick. This one's a little bit further out. I think Barco might look for the 60-minute hat trick. No, they take it short.
Mikey Ambrose actually put it off Lissandra Lopez. Barco, Jurgen Dahm, and another good save, and Lissandra Lopez sends it over the crossbar. A point-blank save on Emerson Hindman. So Charleston's goalkeeping group getting a lot of work here in this second 30-minute period.
You won't see many of those from Lissandra Lopez. That's a early preseason kind of miss. Happens a little bit. The legs get really heavy right now when you're not used to going 60 minutes with this kind of intensity. Those are the mistakes that happen. But back to what you've gotten out of this 60 minutes, the transitions have been very good. The movement off the ball, there's still work to do there. The overall idea here of the way you play, it's a work in progress. But I think you're seeing players gain confidence. It's been a good 60 minutes for a number of the young players who maybe haven't had as much opportunity. And even the guys who came in like Eric Lopez and Ronald Hernandez didn't play the full 60. They've definitely elevated things here in the second 30.
Jurgen Dahm all the way in.
Didn't hit it as well as he would have liked with the left foot. But that's the quick transition. When it's on, Atlanta can get from back to front very, very fast. And controlled as well. It's not reckless when they get forward in that way.
Good job by Miles Robinson to win possession, and then it's returned to him by Santiago Sosa. We have about 30 seconds remaining in this second 30-minute period. Keep trying to figure out if I should call it the second half, the second period. First half of the 120-minute game. I don't know.
All are accurate today. It's preseason for us, too.
Again, don't even really think of this as a full-scale friendly. This is a joint training exercise. Atlanta United has 3 goals. Charleston has 1. I think both teams will be relatively satisfied with what they were able to work on with these respective groups, and I think both managers, Heinze and Anhauser, will have some things they'll want to address as well. So that is the end of the second 30-minute period. Atlanta United won this 60-minute segment 3-1. 2 goals by Barco, one from the spot, one on a direct free kick. Eric Lopez scored an open play, and you had Stavros Arakostas score on a penalty for Charleston. Couple saves for Rocco Rios Novo, who played goalkeeper for Atlanta United. And I think the biggest thing of all, no one got hurt, which is what you're trying to accomplish more than anything else in joint training exercises like this.
Absolutely. It's a time to get some work in, and it's a time to get some work in against some different faces. You can only put in the work at the training ground against your teammates for so often before it starts to slack off a little bit. You need to play different opponents. This was a really impactful 60 minutes for Atlanta United, and now we'll see another group get 60 minutes.
Okay, so we are going to take a brief break. We will come back to Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and we will have the second group for both Atlanta United and Charleston Battery as this joint training exercise continues at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. in the next group.
Overtime.
We'll get to see Joseph Martinez in the next group as off the free kick, Ezekiel.
Overtime.
We'll get to see Joseph Martinez in the next group as off the free kick, Ezekiel Barco goes for goal and scores.
Overtime.
We'll get to see Joseph Martinez in the next group as off the free kick, Ezekiel Barco goes for goal and scores to make it 3-1.
Barquito with a beautiful right-footed curler into the side netting. Overtime.
We'll get to see Joseph Martinez in the next group as off the free kick, Ezekiel Barco goes for goal and scores to make it 3-1.
Barquito with
All right, welcome back to Mercedes-Benz Stadium. This now another 30-minute period with new playing groups for both Atlanta United and Charleston Battery. Mike Conti and Jason Longshore, glad to have you with us. The first 60-minute mini scrimmage of this joint training session won by Atlanta United 3-1. Anton Walks is out there for Atlanta United to start the second half. This is Alex DeJohn, who was signed last week, and Brooks Lennon is with him on the right side. So we'll try to give you the players as we go along here. There are some academy players and some second-teamers that are working with the first team in this playing group.
It's Abdoulaye Diop right now on the ball. And Atlanta United, 2 young player from Senegal.
Alex DeJohn, 2 years with Orlando City. There is Joseph Martinez. He will play in this third 30-minute period. And we are glad to have a healthy Joseph Martinez back for 2021. And I know those of you watching are thrilled to see Joseph as well. It has been a long year of hard work for Joseph to come back from his knee injury suffered last February the 29th in Nashville. Joseph played only 69 minutes all of last season, but here is his first touch of this match as Tyler Wolff now plays it up to Machop Scholl. And Charleston will turn this out for a corner. So it is Machop, George Bello, Tyler Wolff, Brooks Lennon, Jake Mulraney. Franco Ibarra is out there.
Thought about taking that short. Charleston was ready for it.
Second Atlanta United season for Brooks Lennon, such a consistent player for them in 2021. Charleston keeper is able to punch this. And Tyler Wolff digs for it, but it'll be the Charleston Battery trying to escape now. Charleston 9-3-3 in 2020. They earned 30 points in Group H of the USL Championship. They made the playoffs. They finished second in their division. Tyler Wolff, 18-year-old from Brazelton, the son of Josh Wolff, former U.S. men's national team player, and also the current coach of expansion side Austin FC. Signed his homegrown deal last July. He joined Atlanta United's academy in 2019, and he had a fantastic preseason with the first team last year, including a really strong match in Birmingham last February.
Yeah, only had the chance to play one time with Atlanta United 2 before everything shut down. Signed his homegrown deal, and then we saw him multiple times in Major League Soccer. Tyler Wolff playing in a little bit different kind of role, a little more central than we've seen him before. You've seen combination early with him and Joseph Martinez. Tyler Wolff's going to have an opportunity to earn minutes, and this is a big sequence for him. If he gets 30 or if he gets 60 the rest of the afternoon.
George Bello. Alex DeJohn. And now Brooks Lennon. Joseph.
Tried to turn that quickly out to the right to Mulraney. Mishit it.
Abdoulaye Diop. Good job there to spin it up towards Joseph.
Really promising prospect. Good year last year for him with Atlanta United, too. Had some injuries. It felt like every time he'd get going, there'd be something that would have him out of the lineup for a game or two. So the rhythm was a little bit difficult. But he showed flashes of being an MLS-level player with Atlanta United, too, last year.
Well, George Bello, like Miles Robinson, went to play with the U.S. men's national team in their training camp in late January and then got to play in a friendly against Trinidad. George played 20 matches, second most of any under-20 player in MLS in 2019, or 2020, I beg your pardon.
The last year's felt like a blur, Mike.
Well, hopefully for George, this is a year where he can continue to build off the positive things he did, especially at the end of the 2020 season. You could really see his confidence start to develop as the season went along. And George is, I think the more that he does here in MLS, the more he's going to get into that U.S. men's national team conversation.
He absolutely will. He absolutely will. At left back, it is a little bit of an open position for the national team going forward.
That was Joseph Martinez who sent this ball all the way up to Jake Mulroney. And now Brooks Lennon to Joseph. Well handled by Charleston.
It's something we saw Joseph add to his game more and more in 2019 before the injury at the beginning of 2020, where Joseph Martinez, when he first arrived, pretty much ran the channels up high, didn't drop into the build-up phases of play too much. We see this early on with him picking up touches in deeper roles. It helps create space.
Long run for Jope. Jope Scholl, George Bello also there to help out. And Atlanta United earns a throw.
It's a very quick left side of the team with George Bello and Machop Chol. They can close the opposition down so quickly. Chol covers so much ground with every stride.
Jope walks.
Very similar to the first 30 minutes that we saw. As you ease in, the team is looking for the opportunities off the ball. They're going to be very smart in the way they build up play. And it's about finding the rhythm for players to pop open.
Oh, nice ball by Bello to Tyler Wolf. Can't quite cut it back to Joseph, but a really good ball and a good run by Wolf. And then Wolf trying to win the second ball. Good sequence there for Tyler Wolf. Unfortunately, it didn't turn into anything more. Anton Walks looked like he was pulled away from the ball, and he was.
Easy call for the referee on that one. Tyler Wolf and that last sequence, it's a prime example of how players in 2021 with Atlanta United are not attackers or defenders. Every player has to do both in equal amounts. And Tyler Wolf with a brilliant run to create an opportunity. Play's not over for him. Ball turns over. He has to fight to win it back, and he does.
Jope. Mulroney. Oh, a nice one in the direction of Joseph Martinez. You really got a good view of that there. That was a good ball that Joseph just could not quite get to.
Good idea. Floated it a little more than he would have liked. Look at Mulroney closing everything down so fast. This is a group for Atlanta United that has a ton of speed on the field right now.
Well, Jake Mulroney, 24-year-old, came out of the Nottingham Forest Academy, played a couple seasons with Hearts, 4 seasons total in Scotland. This is his second season with Atlanta United. He had a goal and an assist in 18 appearances last year. Anton Walks. Machop Chol. Now George Bello. Abdullah Jope to Alex DeJean.
Seeing Abdullah Jope in this kind of role shows you the importance of Atlanta United too in the overall club structure. You have to have players in that group who can step up, like we've seen George Campbell do. Abdullah Jope today gets a big opportunity. We saw Jack Gurr in the first 30 minutes with a big opportunity. Atlanta United, too, is a critical part of the overall development strategy for the club.
Well, Machop, out of Tucker, Georgia. I know you've known him for a long time, Jason. He's someone who comes into the first team, or at least the first team training camp, with a lot of experience for being such a young man because he played 70-plus matches at Wake Forest over the span of 4 years.
Yeah, Machop Chol's a different kind of homegrown signing than we've seen in Atlanta United's history because he was part of that first academy class. He was one of the first academy signings, and then went and played 4 years in college at Wake Forest, one of the best programs in the country. And his game has matured as much as he has over that 4 years. So he doesn't come in like homegrowns that we've seen, like an Efrain Morales, for example, who has just a handful of games at any kind of high-level standard. Efrain Morales is going to grow with the program. Machop Chol comes in a little more established, a little more as a player who you can expect to potentially contribute day one. He played big games at Wake Forest. He's dealt with pressure. He's going to have to deal with that here, and you want to see him make the right decisions on and off the ball today. That's something Gabriel Heinze will be looking for out of him. Good work there.
Yeah, absolutely. And then it's sent back to him by George Bell. This is a good run here by Machop Chol. Look at Machop all the way into the attacking third. Now it's Jake Mulraney. Blocked by his own teammate, but it rolls to Brooks Lennon, and Lennon unable to chip. However, Atlanta United keeps the attack going. This is all started on a great run by Machop Chol. Lennon. Cut away from Joseph. Tyler Wolf to Mulraney. Now it's Machop Chol again. Oh, just almost tucked that into the post and in. Machop Chol. Very impressive here.
Nice work by Machop to start the play. A good cross that kept everything going. The shot from Mulraney was blocked, but then it's Machop at the end of the play cutting in on his right foot with a shot that just goes wide. He gives you a very different element out wide because of his combination of work on the ball. He's improving with his work off of the ball, and that was something that was a big focal point of his time at Wake Forest. But he's also, just because of his size, he's a huge target on crosses from the opposite side because there's not many defenders who can go up and win headers against him.
And now he has a role in winning a throw for Atlanta United. So when we talk about players who have stood out to us today in this joint training exercise, and there's only so much you can glean from an event like this, but Machop stands right at the very top of the list, certainly in this third 30-minute period.
It's a good start for him. There's still plenty of time.
Also true. Well, for Anton Walks, he'll be part of the center back group, one would think. Up ahead, Machop Chol has scored for Atlanta United. How about that? Machop Chol up ahead scores to give Atlanta United their first goal of this second mini game.
So impressive for a young player to have the composure as he's kind of fighting through the Charleston back line. He gets sprung. The ball gets underneath his feet a little bit. He doesn't panic. He creates the space for himself, sliding from left to right, slots it home, gets the goalkeeper to commit. That's great work from Machop Chol, but it's not just about his individual ability. The composure is what stands out there. You don't necessarily see that composure from young players in their early days as a professional. You see it there. It's a credit to Machop. It's also a credit to the work that was put in at Wake Forest helping him develop.
He's done a terrific job so far. So it is 1-0 to Atlanta United in this second mini game as Abdoulaye Diop on the ball now. Slides it over to Alex DeJean.
Good turn from Abdoulaye Diop. Quick, no hesitation.
Diop. Anton Walks. Just past Tyler Wolf. Machop's not giving up on this one, though. Let's see if he can get to it. Does enough to force a throw.
Yeah, he doesn't get there, but he does regain possession.
George Bello to Joseph Martinez. Diop. DeJean. Jake Mulraney. Nice work, Jake Mulraney. And Mulraney unable to put a cross in. It'll be a goal kick to Charleston Battery.
Just needed a little more room on that end line, Jake Mulraney.
That's Brooks Lennon knocking out for a throw. Lennon played the most minutes of any outfield player on Atlanta United last year. Almost 1,600 minutes. He played in 23 matches and started 19 of them. Saw Franco Ibarra get involved in this play. Slice it back to Jope. Here now, George Bello.
The other element that you get out of the structure of the day is you get some internal competition between the two groups who have played. You think Joseph Martinez wants to go back into the locker room if his team doesn't play as well as the first group did? No way.
Do you think you'd want to look at Joseph if you were on that team?
I'm not going to talk trash to him. I'll tell you that much.
There will be no eye contact as far as I'm concerned.
No. I'm not going to talk trash to Joseph Martinez. I value my life.
You know, Joseph is not always the most vocal, but I think he is certainly an emotional leader for Atlanta United, and sometimes it's the body language that speaks more than the words.
He's becoming more vocal, and he's becoming more confident, and it's been really cool to see Joseph Martinez be more confident in speaking in media availabilities in English, something that, I mean, it just blows my mind how good he is at it and how much personality he can show in both languages. Joseph Martinez is such a focal point for this team on and off the field, and just to have him back and just to see him looking good, moving around, looking comfortable, looking sharp, really gives you a good feeling about 2021.
And it was not the easiest rehab in the world for him. I mean, he revealed to us during that press conference last Friday where he did speak a lot in English that there were some setbacks, and at times it was very emotional for Joseph. Joseph's an emotional guy, but no doubt it's good to see him back out there as Franco Ibarra tries to win the ball back for Atlanta United.
Franco Ibarra joining Atlanta United from Argentinos Juniors. Really came onto the scene there in the last Copa Diego Armando Maradona. A little late on the challenge there.
After very nearly winning possession for Atlanta United, Ibarra, 19 years old, played for Argentina's U20 team.
Yeah, just starting to get into that group. Just starting to. It's off the back of a really good cup campaign for Argentinos. He was called in December to the U20 group for Argentina, a domestic group that was training. You saw in that challenge, he is a very robust central midfielder. He will get stuck in. He led the Copa Diego Armando Maradona in tackles.
Brad Guzan marshals his area nicely on that set piece. One of the, I guess, benefits of this joint training exercise today is that we've had just about everything for the goalkeepers to work on, including a couple of penalties in the first 60-minute segment, a couple direct free kick situations, one of which Ezequiel Barco scored on. But Brad, now 36 years old, he was the only player to start in every Atlanta United match last year. Ended up with a 662 save percentage, had 6 clean sheets. This is Jake Mulroney in the attacking third for Atlanta United, and Mulroney will have a crack.
It was a beautiful ball from Ibarra to spring Mulroney. With Mulroney and Scholl in this group, you have a different kind of mentality up top. And where they can find those spaces to get into the 1v1s, you're looking to spring them as much as you can. Good work from Ibarra.
And Jope trying to spin that up towards Tyler Wolf. Charleston, though, able to regain possession. Good job there by Jope to win the ball back and send it to Tyler Wolf.
Yeah, Abdullah Jope making a lot of the opportunity to mix with this group today. It's our first look at Alex DeJohn as well in an Atlanta United kit.
Here's Lennon trying to pick out Joseph Martinez up ahead of everyone, and Joseph is offside. You know, you wonder, Lennon, who had 3 assists last year, can you imagine how many assists he could have potentially had last year if he had the opportunity to play a full season with Joseph Martinez?
I will go with a lot.
All right, here's Ibarra, and this is really our first extended look at Franco Ibarra since he came into the team. And it's a lot to throw at a young 19-year-old to get him into the country, go through everything, and get him into this first training camp, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the thing about Ibarra that you have to remember is the last tournament in Argentina, and they've done a couple of short tournaments, almost miniature league formats. The last one was the first time that he was a regular at Argentinos Junior. So he's only got 11 games under his belt with their first team. Now, he played over 100 times for their junior teams. He was a fixture at the club. But he's still learning at this level. And you add that along with moving to a new country during a global pandemic, there's a lot of challenges. We saw that challenge from him. He was late. It was a foul. It was a foul and a little bit of a bad spot to give it up. But we've also seen the quality from him. He's going to grow with this team over time. I'm excited to see his development with this group.
Chope Chol, who scored earlier in this 30-minute period. They will play extra time, by the way, in these next two playing segments. Ibarra on it now.
Nice ball.
Up to Joseph, a beautiful ball, and the keeper comes off his line to sweep it off Joseph's boots. But a great ball played up to Joseph Martinez by Franco Ibarra.
Ibarra has grown in this 22 minutes that we've seen, 21 minutes and change. It was a little bit early on, like it was he was struggling to find the game a little bit. He wasn't as involved, wasn't seeing the ball as much. He's playing in a little bit higher role as well than he did at Argentinos, where he played as part of two holding midfielders quite often. But you're seeing him on the ball a lot more as this half goes on.
There's Machope Chol again. George Bello. Ibarra. And Walks will punch this over to Jope.
That's good problem solving. You're kind of hemmed in on that side. Pop it over to the other side, use Brad Gazan in the build-up. You're going to see Brad Gazan on the ball a good bit more when the time calls for it.
Ooh, Mulroney, good turn to Brooks Lennon. Tyler Wolf just puts it wide of the near post. Good build-up, though, again, and it was Mulroney again kind of being the catalyst.
A lot of chances being created from wide positions in this group. Mulroney, Lennon, Bello, and Chol on the opposite side.
And Ibarra wins a ball for Atlanta United.
Like Pac-Man, he's just constantly everywhere regaining possession for this group.
Anton Walks. Machope Chol. Jope. To John. Lennon. And to John again. To John from Marlborough Township, New Jersey. 12 appearances for Orlando City in the last 2 years. Here's Ibarra again. Charleston off the giveaway now. DeJohn did enough just to slow the counter, but Chope jumps back into the play now. I think Tyler Wolf may have just deflected that, enabling Anton Walks to clear, but I like the phrase you used a moment ago, problem solving.
That's a lot of what you're trying to figure out right now. That's the game in a nutshell. You want to keep the ball, you want to keep possession. Okay, the opponent's trying to take it away from you. How do you solve this problem where you're outnumbered, where it's 2v3? You try to find the space elsewhere. If you have the numerical superiority, okay, then what? And now, as you're not in possession, you want to win it back. How do you do that? Who jumps the ball? Who's covering in behind? These are the things that you work on, you work through in training, you have specific exercises, but you have to have these moments like today to be able to put them into practice. It's been good to see DeJohn with this group, a player that maybe we try to forget about the 2 years in Orlando when we look at his history. And he has extensive experience in Scandinavia, and he has international experience at the club level in Scandinavia as well, playing in the Europa League, playing in the qualifiers for that competition. He's a player who comes in not as an unproven professional. So he gives you security in that center back group when he's called upon.
Joe Scholl. That is DeJohn. Not the only player to make the transition from Orlando to Atlanta United, by the way. There have been others. We saw Mikey Ambrose earlier today.
Yeah, but he was with Orlando before we knew we didn't like those guys in purple, right?
I guess that's true. But he's going to provide some really important depth at that center back position. I don't think there's much doubt about that.
He absolutely will. And his experience in Scandinavia is what you're going to lean on a lot here, because if he's called upon in CONCACAF Champions League, for example, he's been in those sorts of moments. He knows how to navigate the two-legged ties and dealing with games on the road that can be a big challenge.
It's fun to kind of see that perspective, too, the isolation on these backline players and the amount of work, even the center backs, what they have to do even off the ball. It's not a perspective that we get to see a whole lot. For Abdoulaye Diop, this is such a really good opportunity for him, not only to be in the first-team training camp, but to play with the first team. What do you expect from Diop in 2021, Jason?
Well, it elevates, I think, Atlanta United, too, in a big way, because he's going to go in a better position to support that group.
It's Ibarra putting in a cross. This is going to fall to Lennon. Joseph! Oh, a big save. There's Wolf. Another big save. Oh, my goodness. Well, that is fantastic goalkeeping.
Two amazing saves.
No other way to say it. Oh, poor Tyler Wolf.
Just couldn't get that one to settle to take the chance quicker. Great first opportunity for Joseph Martinez. Tyler Wolf following up, just can't find the back of the net.
That was reminiscent of Maxime Crepeau up in Vancouver back in the 2019 season. Hey, Josh, shake it off.
Bad flashbacks.
There will be other chances. Well, it was a bad flashback, but Atlanta United won the match at least. But.
They did, but man, I don't need Maxime Crepeau flashbacks yet.
No. Tyler will have, I'm sure, other opportunities. They are going to play extra time, by the way, at the end of this 30-minute segment and the next one as well. Joseph Martinez has gotten into some dangerous spots. But the goal here in the first 30-minute period came from Machop Chol. It's Walks trying to spin it up towards Chol. Joe digs for it.
You mentioned what to
as well. Sorry, Jason.
You mentioned what to expect from Abdoulaye Diop. I think you saw it a little bit there as he defended. This is an opportunity that he's being asked to do some things that he hasn't in his career at this point. I mean, he's still very young. He has one professional season under his belt. He is a player that could continue to develop into a nice prospect for the first team. But this season, it's going to be about taking the lessons that he's learned training with the first team, the expectations of the role that he's playing here today, and taking that to Atlanta United 2, which is going to be a team that has more experience than maybe we've seen in the past. Even the academy players coming through are going to be more experienced because they played so many minutes last year. And Abdoulaye Diop will be, at 21, one of the veterans in that group, one of the leaders in that group.
It's going to be kind of refreshing, too, with the second team playing in a new division. They're going to get a different set of opponents. As Ibarra earns a foul, it's going to be a totally different set of opponents in the USL Championship season for ATL UTD 2. So they're going to be a fun side to watch this year with Stephen Glass back in charge there.
Yeah, definitely going to be fun to watch Atlanta United 2. With the young talent coming through the academy, it looks like there's going to be some new additions to Atlanta United 2 as well. And some of the guys that you could see from the first team getting those minutes. We don't know what those protocols are going to look like early on. Hopefully by the second half of the season, things are back to the way that they were with players being able to move back and forth a little more freely. Last year was a lot of fun watching Atlanta United too, in the sense that you were seeing 15, 16, 17-year-olds play big minutes and be able to handle some of the challenges that established teams threw at them.
Well, we had 13 seconds of extra time.
Not a whole lot of stoppage time. Not a whole lot there. Not a whole lot to add on to it. We'll see if we get more in the second 30.
Well, couldn't ask for more if you're Machop Joel, right? How exciting for him. And yes, he does get the goal, which is kind of the reward to everything that came leading up to that. But I think you get the impression that Machop, with that speed and that build, is going to create some issues for opponents, especially coming down that left channel.
Yeah, it's one of the things that we've had a chance to talk to Machop a couple of times right after he was signed and then earlier this week. And Machop has told us one of the things that the coaching staff has asked him to do is in those moments, go to goal. Go to goal and get yours out of it, because at times he defers to others. So you want him to be aggressive. That goal was a prime example of it, where he's able to dribble through a crowd. He's able to get the ball out from under his feet, which, you see it all the time. Sometimes it just gets stuck there. He gets it out from under his feet and creates the space to cut it back across into the side netting. It's a really nice goal from Joel that shows some of the work that the coaching staff has been putting in with him, and it's starting to pay off.
So we are in the midst of a 5-minute break, and then we're going to have the fourth and final 30-minute period of this joint training exercise. Atlanta United's first group out. I want to stress again, the first group of players, not necessarily the first choice group. And I think now we've clearly seen that it is very much mix and match for Heinze today in the way that he's deploying these players. But in the first set of 30-minute periods, and again, I'm choosing my words very carefully because these really aren't scrimmages or friendlies, Atlanta United outscored Charleston 3-1. A goal by Barco on a penalty, and a goal by Barco on a free kick, and a goal by Eric Lopez. Stavros Zeracostas scored on a penalty for Charleston. We had 2 handball penalties in the first of 4 periods. And, of course, now here in this second 60-minute mini game, if you will, Machop Joel scoring to give Atlanta United the 1-0 lead. So we get to look at Heinze in the huddle, and everything we have heard about this training camp, and this is an extension of it today, has been that it's been very, very intense.
I think every person that we've talked to has used that word. And they've used it in different ways. I think, you think intense on the field, and you think a lot of high pressure. You think about closing players down quickly. But I think some players have told us that it's intense mentally as much as it is physically, because of, one, the level of pressure, and two, the amount of information that you're absorbing right now, because you're trying to instill the principles of play that will see you through not just a couple of games, but the whole season, and leave an imprint on the way that this club will play under Gabriel Heinze. And that's going to go from the first team on down, because you want players to be able to move, as we've talked about, from Atlanta United 2 up. So it's a lot to cover, and it's going to be continually reinforced. But you've got to start with it now. And I think what we saw in the first 60 minutes, you saw a big jump from maybe 20 minutes in through the end, where it looked like players were getting comfortable, the rhythm was starting to develop, and it wasn't as I'm thinking about what to do here, I'm feeling what to do. The instincts start to kick in, and hopefully we'll see that here in the second 30 with this group.
It's definitely a lot to consume.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any doubt about it.
You're being asked to do a lot.
Yeah. Well, we are at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. As you can see, the opportunity came up at the quite the last minute for Atlanta United to have this joint exercise here, and Heinze thought it was probably best to bring the team in here, play on the surface, play in the building. It's really the first time they've been able to play in here this year, so that was the reason for the last-minute change. You see it is still in use as a COVID-19 vaccination site even today. Those continue off to our left. So
some folks might have got an added bonus to their vaccination today.
Surprise, right?
Surprise. Ezequiel Barco with a golazo.
Well, we're glad to be in this building. We'll be back for the first league match in this building on April the 24th. That'll be against Chicago Fire. It'll be an 8 o'clock kickoff, and you'll be able to hear Jason and I on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game calling that match and all the league matches all season long. League play for Atlanta United starts in a little less than a month. In fact, 3 weeks from today, April 17th against Orlando City. That'll be on the road, and then the following Saturday against Chicago Fire. Meanwhile, their first competition is a little more than 2 weeks away. It'll be Tuesday, April 6th in Costa Rica against Alajuelense as they begin the round of 16 in the CONCACAF Champions League. So it has been almost a full month in training camp for Atlanta United. And now things are starting to get real because you're getting really, really close to the start of competitions. 2 more preseason friendlies to go. One against Chattanooga on Wednesday, and then a week from Sunday in Birmingham against Birmingham Legion.
I think we'll see a few changes to the group, as we did after the first 30. You've mentioned it a couple of times. I think it's a very important point here, is you've got players who are at different fitness levels right now. You've got some players who are not ready to go more than 30 in an intense environment. So you're going to see some changes. It looks like Franco Ibarra is one, and we know that he was able to, fairly recently rejoin the group and start training. So he's a little bit behind the rest in fitness. You have time to catch up, but this is a training session. This is not about a result. This is a training session. So he was good in his 30, and we'll see if he can go further down the line.
Is this Brendan Lamb who has come in for Franco Ibarra?
Yes.
So Brandon Lamb of Atlanta United's Academy will get a chance to play with this group here. This is the final 30-minute period. I think Lamb for Ibarra is the only change that I can see, but we'll try to keep an eye on that. Well, they've made another change, too, it appears. We'll try to get that for you. Anton Walks is still in the match. Or the exercise, I should say. So is Abdoulaye Diop. It's Brandon Lamb. Diop again.
Good work from Walks to keep possession. Kind of boxed in a little bit by the Battery. Abdoulaye Diop overhits it just a bit, trying to pick out George Bello.
So one final 30-minute period here, and then this joint exercise between Atlanta United and Charleston will come to its conclusion. It's Tyler Wolff fouling. Wolff denied point blank along with Joseph Martinez on a double save scramble late in the first period.
I'd like to see the aggressiveness from Tyler Wolff, though, especially defensively.
Oh, Macho played that into the run of Tyler Wolff. And Machop on the second ball is able to spin it up towards Wolff again. So Machop, who scored in the first half of this mini game, continues to play very, very well.
We saw 30 minutes from Joseph Martinez. It's Kubo Torres up top now.
Yep, that is another change. Again, I think they're trying to be very, very careful with Joseph. Managing the workload becomes very, very important in this preseason. And we saw in the first period, by the way, for example, Marcelino Moreno played only 30 minutes, so this is all by design.
Strong work from Abdoulaye Diop again to recover possession. Good decision with the pass as well.
That is Machop Chol, a 22-year-old who came to the United States from Sudan as a very, very young boy. In fact, I believe he was only 1 year old when his family moved from Sudan to Georgia. Played 4 years at Wake Forest. Very, very experienced at the collegiate level. Tyler Wolf trying to play this up to George Bello. And a possession gained by Machop Chol. So Machop Chol has been fantastic in his opportunity to play today. This is Brooks Lennon now. Brendan Lamb, Abdoulaye Diop, Anton walks. Up ahead to George Bello, and now Tyler Wolf. Wolf, Brooks Lennon. That's Brendan Lamb retreating to get on the ball now.
Lamb's a player who's really emerged out of the Atlanta United Academy. Saw his pro debut last year with Atlanta United 2 at 16.
Wolf, Scholl. This one is sliced towards the penalty spot and cleared away from Kubo Torres. Scramble defending here by Charleston, but it's sent back forward by Anton Walks. And Tyler Wolf wins the ball back. Kubo Torres, 28-year-old, who stuck with Atlanta United through the CONCACAF Champions League and then re-signed with them this year. And this is going to be an interesting year for Kubo, who not only is going to be able to provide some depth at the striker spot for Atlanta United, but I think the goal for Kubo is to really work with the second team and the academy players and some of the young strikers. Here's a developing opportunity now that will turn into a corner for George Bello.
Love the 1-2 with Chol and Bello. Those two have built a nice connection in about 35 minutes of play.
Tyler Wolf bounces right back to him.
Shot from Lamb blocked up high. It's another corner.
Well, this is good for Atlanta United, a chance to work on a couple corners here in this joint training exercise. They've been rather sparse here for both sides in this match.
Short corner taken again.
George Bello, Anton walks, Kubo. And now it is Abdoulaye Diop. Walks. Joel. Brandon Lim getting a good opportunity to play here, perhaps a full 60 minutes with the first team. On it now. Oh, a flick by Kubo Torres and a goal. Kubo Torres right at the penalty spot with a nifty flick to give Atlanta United their second goal of this mini game.
It's a great header from Kubo Torres, but the quality of the ball from Brendan Lamb, an Atlanta United Academy player who's getting this opportunity, and he's asking for the ball. He's getting himself into open spots and wanting to be on the ball. You don't see a lot of 17-year-olds in this opportunity, not on a pro deal yet. He's getting the time to train with the first team. He's a highly thought-of prospect
of this mini game.
It's a great header from Kubo Torres, but the quality of the ball from Brendan Lamb, an Atlanta United Academy player who's getting this opportunity, and he's asking for the ball. He's getting himself into open spots and wanting to be on the ball. You don't see a lot of 17-year-olds in this opportunity, not on a pro deal yet. He's getting the time to train with the first team. He's a highly thought of prospect, but he's out there with seasoned professionals, and he's asking for the ball, and he puts in a perfect cross to Kubo Torres, who beats the goalkeeper and scores for Atlanta United.
2 goals for Atlanta United in this period, and now a foul earned.
That's huge long-term for Brendan Lamb.
Big time. Real confidence builder. And
you saw Kubo call for him to come running over immediately after that goal.
Well, and you know, as the point I was trying to make before that sequence developed is Kubo's going to be working with guys like Brandon Lamb this year. He's going to be working with the second team. He'll be working with the academy. And think of a guy like Jackson Conway and all that he could potentially learn playing with Lisandro Lopez, Joseph Martinez, and Kubo Torres. This is a good ball to the back post. And off the crossbar again. And smothered by Charleston. My goodness, a couple crossbars hit by Atlanta United. I think Brooks Lennon is appealing, saying it went in.
We don't have video assistant referees. If we were the VARs today, I think that's a goal. I'm pretty sure it's a goal from Brooks Lennon.
Well, no VAR, obviously, in a joint training exercise. Here's Brad having to come off his line.
I don't think they're going to sign us up for that role. I thought it was a goal.
Brooks was pretty convinced. I don't think he would appeal for it as emphatically if he was not certain.
I was convinced because the way it spun back, it looked like it was in. It's another nice header from Kubo Torres. He knows he doesn't have it going to goal on the angle, so he puts it back across. And you see Brooks Lennon charging in with a good attempt at a finish there. I think it was enough to get the goal. The score doesn't really matter too much today. It's the quality of that build-up play.
Exactly. Actually, that's a really important point. I mean, you're looking for the opportunities created, not necessarily the score line, as Jake Mulroney is on it now. Mulroney has had a very, very good couple of preseason friendlies for Atlanta United. He was a big factor in their 3-0 win over Tormenta at the training ground last Saturday. And here is Jake. Thought he drew a foul, but the attack continues now with Brooks Lennon to Kubo, and it's canceled away. It's a big season, though, for Jake.
Huge season. And he's going to have opportunities to play. He's going to push the wide players for Atlanta United consistently. And whether it's from the start or off the bench, Jake Mulroney's pace causes problems for opponents.
Played a shade more than 700 minutes last year. Another one of those players who really seemed to get going as the season went along. I think so many people forget how choppy the season was last year. All of the stoppages and restarts and the schedule coming out kind of in spurts, and it's tough to generate any kind of really momentum. This is Josh Bauer, by the way, on the ball for Atlanta United, who is the rookie that Atlanta United was able to get with their first selection in the second round of the most recently completed Super Draft. Machop Chol now. Lamb, Bello. That is Josh Bauer. It's so fortunate, I think, that Atlanta United was able to select him where they did. There were a lot of mock drafts, Jason, that had Josh Bauer going in the top 5.
They had him going where Atlanta United was picking, and Atlanta United was able to trade down and still get the player that they wanted. It was a wild ride on draft day, watching how everything played out. As it got later, after the trade was made and Bauer was still available, I was sitting there with Kevin Egan talking about maybe they need to trade back up. Maybe they need to go ahead and trade up and get him. And he fell because the teams ahead were looking for different things. Bauer spent time with the Birmingham Legion in USL Championship last fall after the college season was canceled. He was a perennial all-conference player in college, and he's here to earn a contract. He's drafted. He has an opportunity. He's here to earn a contract. This is a good opportunity for him today to play with Abdoulaye Diop from Atlanta United 2, with Anton Walks, but on that right side with Brooks Lennon. Bowers looked like he's fitting in very well early on. Tidy on the ball is something that Josh Bauer was consistently described as during his time in college. He can step forward and carry it forward a little bit when the time calls for it.
This is Anton Walks playing it up to Machop Chol again. Machop Chol. And he earns a corner. Machop Chol continues to cause problems for the Battery.
He's so difficult to defend in the 1v1 because of his combination of size, his height, and his quickness with his feet. He can get you leaning the wrong way, as we saw there. He wasn't able to get the cross in at the end of it, but he earns a corner.
It looked like they were targeting Chol on that one. It is cleared by Charleston. There is a Charleston player down, and they'll stop play because this is a joint training exercise, not an actual match. We have about 20 minutes or so left to play in this training exercise. Atlanta United has scored 5 goals across the day. Charleston has 1.
The quality of play has been good from Atlanta United. I think more so than the goals, you're looking for, are those principles of play happening? Yes, we're seeing that so far. It is a work in progress, and you're seeing opportunity. Like right now, for example, Tyler Wolf is going over to get a little bit of a lesson on some of the things that you want to see out of that role. Tyler Wolf told us this week that he was playing more centrally, and we were a little surprised by that. He's looked good, but the movement, the positioning, it's a little different at times, and it's something that you take opportunities in days like this to pull him aside, to say, this is what we want next time when you're in this role. This is what you did well. This is what we can work on. I believe it's Robbie Mertz who checked in for him.
Yeah, Wolf is out. So it's Lamb, Mertz, Jope, Scholl, Bauer among some of the newer faces maybe to you watching. That is Anton Walks, who is a familiar face, obviously, to us. Was really, really reliable for Atlanta United as the season went along in 2020. That's Lamb on it now. Lamb with an assist on the Cubo Torres goal.
I mean, that little trio we just saw with Lamb and Bello and Scholl, it's a credit, and it shows the long-term development of Atlanta United's academy. Scholl was there day one. Bello was there day one.
Good ball up to Scholl here. Squares it for Cubo Torres. Charleston is able to clear. I was noticing the run that was made off the ball, though, by Machop Chol. It was a nice kind of slaloming run to get into a dangerous spot.
That's one of the things that they're going to work on with him and consistently try to get more out of him in those areas. We know what he can do with the ball at his feet. Can he contribute when he doesn't have the ball?
Well, Heinze, his body language is, I think, going to be tricky for us to read as we get to know him. We know he's a very intense person. I think in general he's going to take a lot of positives away from this joint training exercise and certainly some things to work on as well.
He's going to take both. I think he's going to take both in equal measure because he's a man who sees the game, and he has a very high standard for what he wants his teams to be able to do.
Cubo Torres offside.
He knows he knows they can play better. He knows there's more for this team to continue to develop. You get another opportunity here where there's another conversation about how we can work on this, how we can make this better.
Do you think, I mean, it's probably tough for us as observers and tough for the fans who are watching this match to not overanalyze what you see in a situation like this? I mean, the opportunities to play a different opponent are very, very seldom this time of year, but I'd have to think it has to be awfully tricky for the technical staff, just for us, to not read too much into, specific things that we've seen today.
It's a lot trickier for us, for the fans, than it will be for the technical staff. Because, look, you know exactly what the situation is here. Charleston Battery have had a couple of days of training, period. They don't have a solidified roster yet, as they have a number of trialists that are trying to make an impression today. It's difficult for Charleston. They're going to get a lot out of this and just getting some sharpness. For Atlanta, you know that. You know that. And yes, as we've seen in both 60-minute segments, Charleston has struggled as the time has gone on. I think Atlanta's looked better as the time has gone on. But the standards that Gabriel Heinze and his technical staff have, they're going to want more, and they're always going to want more. Even good performances against good teams in Major League Soccer and hopefully good teams internationally, you're still going to want more because you're never content. And that's a good thing, because the best teams in the world, when they play and they win big, there's still mistakes, and there's still things that the opposition could have hurt them on. You're always looking to play that perfect game that doesn't exist.
This is Jope again. I think the one thing that we've learned about Heinze, and speaking to him when he was hired and learning from Darren and Carlos what that whole process was like when they were interviewing him, is that Heinze does so much. Where there's a great ball by Jope up to Brooks Lennon. The flag is down, and Lennon's going to get his goal.
That is beautiful work. Brooks Lennon made, a 50, 60-yard run across, and he's picked out like Matt Ryan would on that kind of a pass. Abdoulaye Diop with his right foot drops it like a dime for Brooks Lennon, who controls it, slips it under the goalkeeper. Beautiful goal.
We've had some pretty goals today. We had Barco on a direct free kick in the second period, and that is a gorgeous goal. Brooks Lennon with a beautiful ball served to him by Abdoulaye Diop.
Give me that kind of goal all day long, because that's your right back making that run. And he's not able to make the run if the positioning from everyone else isn't correct. It opened up the space for him to get in behind. Abdoulaye Diop drops it on his right foot perfectly. Great, great goal.
So Lennon, who was possibly denied by the woodwork earlier.
Allegedly.
Denied by the AR, we know that. Does get his goal, and now Atlanta United with 10 minutes to play on the front foot again now with Jake Mulroney. Advantage played here, I believe. Here's Machop Chol, and the flag will come up.
Got to have a little more patience there from Chol. The run was a little early as Mulroney was just off balance, wasn't able to deliver the pass on the touch that Chol thought it was coming from. He gets caught in an offside position. But you see the various ways this team can attack from wide positions. It's going to be a fun year to watch this come together.
It's a touch there for Robbie Mertz, who came in to replace Tyler Wolff.
Mertz is a new signing with Atlanta United, too, after a couple of years with the Pittsburgh Riverhounds in USL Championship. I think Robbie Mertz sees what we've seen over the last couple of years with Atlanta United 2 players getting opportunities. We saw it with Lawrence Wyke signed to the first team last year. We saw it with Ben Lundgaard in this offseason. It's a smart place to come in and play if you have Major League Soccer aspirations. You might not get the opportunity to sign an MLS deal day one, but if you put in the work, it will be noticed, and you'll get that opportunity. I think that had to be attractive for Mertz to come to Atlanta.
Jope to Josh Bauer. Mulroney. Lennon will send it back into his run now. That cross is going to be blocked out. So Atlanta United, in all likelihood, will go into that Chattanooga match on Wednesday having outscored their opponent in their first 2 scrimmages. Again, I'm choosing my words very, very carefully here, because you just don't want to read too much to the good or the bad in this. These are training sessions. They aren't necessarily full-scale friendlies.
You can't read too much into it. You can't read too much into the score lines, I think, especially. We didn't see the game with Tormenta. We are getting a good look at the complete play here today, and I think you feel pretty good about where the team is at this stage of its development. It's still early days. It still will need to be tested against good attacks. And Tormenta and the Charleston Battery are not Major League Soccer attacks. You're going to need to see how this defense holds up under pressure. You're going to need to see how the group will be able to play through teams that can press them more effectively. You're going to have to see those things. But this is a very good starting point. The work that this technical staff has put in so far in the first month, you've got a good sense of where this team can go after today's action.
Scholl's cross knocked out for a throw. I think also fair play to Charleston Battery for coming in here literally on their third day of training camp, coming in here and participating in this joint training exercise. I know everyone spoke so positively about South Georgia Tormenta and their work last week coming into the training ground and playing in a joint training exercise. So fair play to Charleston for taking on this challenge, and they will continue to be challenged by the Loons and eventually by Inter Miami later in their preseason.
It's so good for Tormenta and Charleston Battery and Chattanooga FC in the midweek and Birmingham Legion next weekend. It's so good for them because they get tested by a team that, look, is more talented. And that's the difference in level. And for Charleston, where they could be third day of training, maybe playing an in-house scrimmage against one another, maybe inviting a local college team in, to get to play, players like Lisandro Lopez and Joseph Martinez and Brad Gazan, that's going to elevate them so much faster. They're going to have footage that they can go back and say, look at this decision that was made here. We need to be better. We need to be better in these moments.
Look at Kubo Torres, who had a goal and a Brandon Lamb assist earlier. Also want to give a shout to Jake Mulroney, who made a nice recovery run to clean up that bit of danger on the part of Charleston a moment ago, as we have about 5 minutes to play in this final 30-minute period.
I'll give Kubo Torres half of an assist on the half goal that Brooks Lennon should have been credited for. How about that?
Fair enough. But Jake Mulroney has had a terrific day today. I mean, I think you could say a lot of positive things about individuals that we've seen today, again, within the context of this being just an attempt to work on some combinations, build some chemistry, and have a little fun against an opponent. Brandon Lamb with the assist on the Kubo Torres goal. Here's Machope bouncing it wide of the back post.
But that's what you want to see from Machope Chol. Not just taking it down the line and putting in a cross, not just beating a player out wide, but coming inside on that right foot. Shot takes a deflection, you earn a corner on the far side. That's what you want to see Machope Chol doing.
Charleston handles that Brooks Lennon corner well. George Bello. Mulroney to Bello again. Lamb. Bello. Jope. Josh Bauer.
Good pass from Bauer.
And Mulroney now playing this up towards Brooks Lennon. I think that's a sequence that Mike Anhauser, the Charleston manager and general manager, will be pleased with. This is the third time that Atlanta United and Charleston have met in a preseason fixture. They've also played 3 competitions against each other, and Atlanta United has won all of them. There was a draw in the Carolina Challenge Cup in 2018. About 3 minutes to play. Bello. George Bello. Still Bello. Mulroney. Now it's Lennon. Mulroney. Jake Mulroney, and that took a deflection.
The interplay is very good. Charleston struggling with the fitness at this point. You would expect it in their third day of camp. But the interplay with the wide players especially, we've seen it from Bello and Chol. You've seen it from Mulraney and Lennon. Those are big building blocks for this team going forward.
Well, let's see how Jope does to handle this one. Walks, and yeah, you can see the fitness edge now that Atlanta United has as Walks is able to run that down quickly.
Yeah, the legs just aren't there, and they can't be for Charleston. You're so early in camp.
And I believe that some of the players who were in the first group, the first two periods for Charleston, are going to end up playing 2 hours worth of soccer today. They have a smaller group of players who came up here, including, as we've mentioned a couple times, a couple trialists. So really fair play to Charleston Battery for, quite frankly, providing Atlanta United with an opportunity to train against another team today.
It's huge. It's huge. And again, the score lines don't matter here. Charleston Battery is going to get a lot out of this game. It's a very meaningful thing for them. It's going to help them get better as they prepare for the USL Championship season. But it's big for Atlanta because as opposed to playing a day of intra-squad scrimmages at the training ground, you're playing different faces. And you need that. You need that competition. This is a very good day for both sides. It's going to help both sides achieve their goals in 2021.
About a minute to play now. And this is Walks trying to send it up towards Kubo Torres. Lan is able to keep it going. That's a cross put into a threatening spot. A little bit of frustration from Kubo. Machop Chol's going to run this down now.
It was a good ball from Lamb. Lamb has shown well. It's excellent from Mertz.
Final seconds here. Jake Mulraney. Kubo. Goal kick.
Not quite enough room. Kubo tried to bring that down and turn it back.
We are in second half stoppage time now. Just a few seconds remaining in this joint training exercise. We hope you've enjoyed it from Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Atlanta United's first competition 2 weeks from this coming Tuesday at Alajuelense in Costa Rica. First league match will be the 17th of April, a little less than a month from now at Orlando. 2 goals from Barco. A goal by Eric Lopez. Those were the 3 goals in the first 60-minute mini game. And we've had goals here in the second mini game from Machop Chol, Brooks Lennon, and Kubo Torres. And a couple of them have been golazos. They blow for full time. A good day for Atlanta United as they get ever closer to the start of the 2021 season. They played 2 hours of soccer here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. They got to develop a lot of chemistry and continuity. Mission accomplished. And most importantly, no one got hurt.
That's the number one thing. This is a day to get better. And it's a day for Atlanta United to get ready for Alajuelense. You've got a couple more days like this week as you prepare for the trip to Costa Rica. It's a day for the Charleston Battery to really get started and start to ease into their 2021. This is a good day for the club. It's a good day as you see those principles of play start to take hold for Atlanta United. Still work to do. Still a good bit of work to do, but it's a good start.
So Atlanta United will play Chattanooga on Wednesday. They'll be at Birmingham a week from Sunday. The next 2 preseason fixtures for Charleston will be the Loons, Minnesota United, and then Inter Miami. Well, still more work to do for Atlanta United. They're going to have 2.5 weeks to accomplish it. But it was really good just to be back in the stadium today and get back with our friends. It's been a little while, and we're certainly very, very eager to April the 6th and the start of competitions. And I am confident that in the next 2 weeks, this team is going to be able to work on a lot of the things that take some time to develop.
Yeah, you're going to take a lot of the video out of this and work through it. You're going to be able to sit down with every player and show good things that they did today and show things that need to be worked on, and then take different position groups together and say, these are things we want to get better with. Just getting into the venue is a good one, and it's a credit to everybody here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium to get the doors open while it is a vaccination site, and to be able to get this game played. It's huge for Gabriel Heinze and his staff who haven't worked in the building yet. It's good for so many of these new players who will be playing here this spring and summer and fall just to get that experience against an opponent. It is a good step, but there are still more steps to go until we get to Costa Rica and CONCACAF, and then a few more steps until we get to Orlando and the start of the MLS season.
Well, we thank you very much for joining us for this live stream. Jason and I will see you on the radio all year on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. And for Atlanta United, the season starts in 2.5 weeks. Thank you so much for joining us for this special presentation of a joint training exercise between Atlanta United and Charleston Battery.